welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, what's up, Hello News family? Welcome to another episode of the Can We Talk podcast, our show where we talk to dope people in the community doing dope things. And today is no different. I'm so excited to have my next guest on. They are a friend to the show. They always come and give us amazing information for the community. And today is no different. We're celebrating Black Business Month, and they have a lot of Black Business Month events for you to celebrate here in South Florida and Miami-Dade specifically. So without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show my friend, my mentor, Mr. Bill Diggs from the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust. Hey.
All right, look at you getting the name right on the first shot. Go ahead, Janae.
Because you know I be stumbling sometimes.
Listen, everybody except the folk that work here stumble because it's such a long name. And and we work for the government, so we can't change the name. But I've wanted to so many times simply because it's a mouthful, right?
It is, but I like the MD, the nickname is, I like that. I could get
Right.
that out.
Right. Yeah, that's part of the alphabet soup. That works too.
It is. Thank you. Welcome to the show. As always, you guys come and give us some amazing information for the community. So I was really excited to talk to you about Black Business Month.
Good. Man, first of all, I'm excited to talk about Black Business Month. I told someone that, we practice all year long to get to this Super Bowl, right? And so to know that we're here, really being able to highlight the expanse, the experience, and the opportunities that surround Black business, this is a good month. It's the Tom Joyner Black History 365 tour, that we put in a bottle and we kind of, electrify it during the month of August. So for us, it's good, trying to make sure that people, and listen, I've said this 1,000 times. Black Business Month is not just for Black people. It just happens to be a month that celebrates Black business, but wherever you are and wherever you're from, and we want for you to experience and to patronize and to participate with the growth and expansion of Black businesses. And so everybody can contribute to this month.
I love the way you said that because sometimes it does feel like it's just something for us, but it really is for everybody. Just like we celebrate other affinity groups and things that they have going on, everybody can celebrate and get something from Black Business Month. I'm glad you broke it down that way.
Yeah, there's no question it can. I mean, I think that the value of our experience. Matter of fact, just the other day I was telling someone I was on the elevator, and this beautiful Black lady gets on the elevator with her son, and I said, "What floor?" And she said, 21. And I was like, okay, and I looked at her, and she looked like she was in my family, right? Didn't speak a word of English, And so, then, she's going to get up on the floor. I said, so, where are you from? And she said, Colombia. I said, really? And I said, take care. I go and I look. Every port city in the New World has got Black folk.
That part.
Wherever the ship stopped, we got off. Whether we were dragged off, kicked off, or sold off, we got off. And when you think about the fact that the rest of the entire world can almost sit inside the continent of Africa, it helps you understand that this world ain't going to get no better till Black folk get better. And so not only do we have an obligation, right, to do well, the world ought to have a vested interest in the ability of the Black person to thrive.
That's deep. I'm so glad you broke that down. And just even it's a great transition into the work that you guys are doing with MDEAT for Black Business Month, because I feel like in order to see transformative change, it starts locally. It starts with us doing stuff within our own backyards and expanding across the world. And it's a great way for you guys, a segue into what you guys are doing this month for Black Business Month and to celebrate it. So, Mr. Diggs, can you tell us what are some things that you guys have coming up that people can look forward to?
Yeah, well, so many things. We have events to teach people about procurement within the municipal space. Right on tomorrow night, we're going to be at the Muse, which is a Black-owned restaurant and social facility where we're partnering with the Black Professional Network to have people to come out and to learn more about if you want to do business with us, with the county, state, or federal government. We'll have 3 aficionados that will be a part of that, where they can learn more about how to do that. Right now, the beautiful thing is too, is that the city of Miami Beach, knows that they need more Black vendors. They do.
Mm,
They said we want to partner with you guys, and that's going to actually take place, like a fair tomorrow from 9 to 2, where we'll do that as well. And then in the evening, we'll be doing something with Black Professional Network. So tomorrow is Government Day, and you know what?
mm,
And here's the thing. What's the right way to say this? You can't get rich with government contracts. But you do 2 things with government contracts. You make payroll, right? You
mm.
make payroll, which is important. And then you also learn the intricacies in regards to how to situate your business correctly. And what I mean by that is, when you do business with the government, you got forms you got to fill out. You got to have the back of the house together. You just
That
don't
part.
walk into one of those contracts. You got to have your tax receipts. You got to have paid your insurance. You got to have all the documentation that says that you are a legitimate business. And so that's the beautiful thing about working for yourself, and then about learning how to procure goods and services that become a vendor of the government. It helps you to really stratify your business correctly. So tomorrow's a big day. Almost all businesses that enter the private sector that happen to be minority based, Black based, start with government relationships and contracts. It's a great place to level set your business.
Mm. I
Yeah.
love how you broke that down about like government contracts. Even myself personally, as I'm starting to look and do more, like you said, it's not something that you could just tomorrow say, oh, I'm going to do this. Like you got to have your ducks in a row. But once you get one, because you have all of that and you go through that process, you could get more because you're
Yeah.
prepared.
I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, right, depending on where you're at. Unfortunately for me, fortunately for you, there's not a lot of competition in your space, right? Because
Mm,
everyone just doesn't do what they need to do to keep this stuff, active and together. But then once you do, Ben, then the bottom line is it's about building relationships with the decision makers within the county, and they will give you more business, because it becomes easy because it's just not that many of you that are competing for the same dollar. And by the way, that's the same at the uh, the P3 organizations, public-private organizations. It's the same thing at these hospitals. It's the same thing at the state governments. It's the same thing at the federal government and all their ancillary arms and whatever, right? Because if you come into a city, the federal government's everywhere. They're as big, if
mhm.
not bigger, than the counties would be from a not just an employee perspective, but in regards to their spend. And so learning how to navigate that and getting all your stuff done is easy. And by the way, the folk that are going to be there at Miami Beach tomorrow are going to be able to help you to figure out what it is you need and help you to put all this stuff together. So you really should go to
Mm.
that one if you're trying to start out, if you got questions about how to do it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And what else do you guys have going on this month?
So I've got what I personally, one of the events that I love that we've curated on an annual basis tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be on Monday at the Perez Art Museum, starting around 6:30. It's going to be about building generational wealth, right?
Mm,
Now, we're coming of age as a community, and because of that, we're now at the point where where those that are in my age bracket are beginning to have children that are in your age bracket, right? And so what's happening is they're bringing their children along in their businesses. And the beautiful thing about it is that they are now starting to create businesses where they are going to be handed off to their children. And again, and so it'll be a second or third generation business. So we'll be talking with three very high-minded, strong entrepreneurial people that are building generational based companies. One, of course, is our local Shiro, Gary Harris, who owns Alpha One Staffing. Her daughter Lauren Kincaid will be with her, and then her son also will be in attendance, and they'll be talking about how Alpha One is a business that is owned by mom, and how they are working in the business themselves as young professionals who are prepared to take over the business at some point. And then also we have another group. One young man, his name is James Brown Jr. Like James Brown, the actor, but he's not. It's kind of funny because James Brown Jr. is a retired executive from ESPN, the longest running employee of Revolt. He's worked for Diddy, and he's the executive vice president for sales with him. But he has launched his own business with his son, James Brown III. His son is an actor, has been on Broadway, and has been in starring roles in The Wiz and The Michael Jackson Story and many others. And they are building, if you will, a recording studio of the Tyler Perry type studio that he has in Atlanta. They're building this in Wyoming. So him and his father, of course, has been in the entertainment business forever. And his son is in the entertainment business. And they have funded a project, and the state of Wyoming is now backing them to build a multi-million-dollar recording studio so they can record films and movies and stuff in Wyoming. And there's a housing component to it as well. So they'll be talking about that new business venture that they have. Father and son working together. Amazing stuff. And then the third family is Alonzo Adams and his son. Alonzo Adams is a world-renowned life painter. He paints murals, art pieces. Everybody's collecting his work. Bill Cosby's collected his work forever. Maya Angelou's collects his work.
Wow.
Ray Allen collects his work. Mike Alonzo Mourning collects his work, and many wealthy white individuals do as well. And he's been commissioned to do a wall mural for Rutgers University of James Baldwin. So he does studio type work where he's actually had studio events in New York, in Europe, and places like that. His son is now entered the business and is more talented than his father. It's amazing. And so they are building, if you will, an art empire. And so so now his son is entering into that genre, and he is beginning his own relationships with many of these NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball player athletes. So he's doing stuff for their homes, and they commission him to do work. And so you'll see the growth of their business in the same vein. So those three families will be on stage talking about, why generational wealth, why is it important, how, what's the tip in regards to passing down. And then, by the way, you don't just get up one morning and say, I'm going to do this. It's about how you build your business with the idea that at some point you want to have your family enter and take advantage of it. So when you're gone, you have something. It's the Earl Graves story, right? To a large extent.
And who's Earl Graves? For people
Earl
who may not know.
Graves was the CEO of Black Enterprise Magazine.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or listen, or Ebony Magazine with John Johnson and his daughter. She took over the business, and for 40 years he ran it. He ran it for 20. The daughter, Sheila Johnson, ran it for 20 years after he did. Right. I mean, so it's that. And by the way, they owned Ebony and Jet. And then they sold Ebony, and Jet had the largest African-American pictorial photograph archives almost in the world. And so
Wow.
and so when they sold the business, they sold everything except the pictures. And she licenses the pictures and is still 3 generations down, still making money from the work that her father did, created. And now the granddaughter is now kind of owning and creating and running some of that business.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
amazing what you
I mean,
guys are doing.
yeah, yeah. So we're real
Yeah.
excited about it. I mean, so so there's real value in having those of us that in Miami, sometimes we don't have a lot of legacy based businesses to learn about that. It gives you a different perspective on why, right? Nothing wrong with making money, but it's another perspective when you start to talk about building an organization that can sustain time. Radio One as an enterprise. Kathy Lee and her son Alfred Liggett. Kathy has been in business now for 40 or 50 years. She was Tom Joyner's partner in Radio One, right? And they turned it into not just radio, movies, and television. And
Hmm.
Alfred Liggett, her son, is now taking over for his mom, Kathy Hughes, and they're continuing to grow generational wealth.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
was going to ask you, are those speakers for the generational wealth panel, are they from South Florida, or are they from different parts of the country? And you kind
Question.
of spoke to like having that visual for people in South Florida to aspire to.
Yeah. So, and that was the thing that we, in the beginning, all three of them were going to be from someplace else. And I said, wait a minute. Let me kind of, recalibrate a little bit. Gary Harrison, her firm is here. They're based in Miami and Broward County. James Brown lives here part time, and his son lives in New York. Their business is in Wyoming. Alonzo Adams and his son, they are in the New Jersey area. They're up outside of not Newark, I think Camden, New Jersey. So the two of them are from somewhere else, and then one family is from here.
I like that. And like you said, it's not a lot of examples, at least that I know, and a lot of people don't know like the generational wealth, but being able to see that it gives you something to aspire to, especially since a lot of us are first generation entrepreneurs like myself, and especially a lot of millennials. So that to be able to see that is really important. Was that also too around like the intention around the programming to be able to give people something to aspire to?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's exactly right. I mean, one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to help people to understand how to build the business. And so, this is about aspiration. I keep telling you, sometimes first of all, you got to teach people how to get there. Then you have to meet them where they're at. But then also, too, you have to give them the ability to dream. And the best way to do that is for them to see something, right? And so, what this is really the top, if you will, of the business heap that says, all right, you now have a business. How do you bring your family into the business if you do have family, if that is your interest? And many times you probably want to, because even though you retire from the business doesn't mean you retire from receiving a check from the revenue, right? you know uh, and so many of us need to understand that that's how we need to do it. Now, in most cities, you'll find Black businesses will do that in the funeral business, where the son follows the father. It's happening here with Range, right?
Yeah.
Um, so traditional businesses like that kind of happens. When you take a look at like the empire within the religious structure, you'll have a father who is a pastor of a church, Arthur Jackson Jr., and now his son Arthur Jackson III is running Antioch. He's got two brothers. Well, he's got one brother who runs Second Baptist down in South Miami, in the Perrine, Richmond Heights area. And and Alfonso Jackson has a son who just became the pastor of his father's church, right? Right off of
Oh,
95th Street, New Shiloh. So he's back home. So you'll see that in the traditional sense of business, but on the for-profit, real driven, traditional business sense, where you have clients that you have to exact the product from, you know, many other progressive cities, you'll see those kinds of things, and you kind of don't in Miami, you know.
Mm.
And so this is going to give us a chance at taking a look at, how you do it, so you can get yourself ready for
I love that, love that. And you guys, I pulled up that visual, that graphic from your Instagram page. You guys have a lot more things coming up this month. Can you tell us some other highlights that people should look forward to?
Yeah, we do. We're going to be doing a business to business conference with Danielle Cohen Higgins, the commissioner down south, and we'll be talking about how to grow your business and how to do business directly, with Dade County. Of course, we got the one tomorrow in regards to Miami Beach. We got the one in regards to specific, procurement practices, but the one that we'll be doing next week is going to be about doing business with Dade County. We'll be doing that. We've got another discussion that we're going to be doing with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our great partners, Connie Kennard and David Whitaker and Petra Brennan, are going to be helping us with that, where we'll be showcasing Black businesses to help them to learn more about how to do business within the trade, travel, and tourism business, which, by the
Mm.
way, is the economic engine of Miami. You know that. I know that.
Yeah.
We're the land of, live, work, and play. And so us partnering with them to help our people to know how to get into that really fast growing, successful, arena is going to be important. And I don't care who you are, if you own a business, there's room for you in trade, travel, and tourism. Every time, just on one small example of that, is when you have a Royal Caribbean or a Carnival cruise or Viking cruise or Costa, whoever it is that comes in, and they drop anchor for the next 24 hours or 18 hours or whatever it is. They move a small city into the bowels of that ship.
Hmm.
Clothes, towels, food, electrical compliances. I mean, appliances, light bulbs, everything that it would take to run your home, everything that it takes to run a city, everything it would take to run a hotel, the entertainers that are there, all the electronics that they've got to take care of. All that stuff is moved, and it's done in such a synchronous way that you've got your moment in time where you put your stuff on a pallet, they put it on one of those big trucks, and they move it into the center, and then it goes from there. They got to clean it, they got to electrify it, they got to make sure that the water and the pools that are on board are clean. They have to replenish everything that they've got. So when you think about what it takes to have one of those ships to turn around, there is a play for you on the product side for whatever it is that you're doing. And whatever it is doing, like I said before, it can be as easy as, providing, chewing gum to the retail store, or it could be as intricate as in regards to changing out the projection screens for when there's going to be, a Hollywood show that's going to be on board, or it could be
Wow.
dry cleaning and cleaning all the towels from, the different, different suites and bedrooms that are on the ship, or to cleaning the windows on the ship on the inside and outside because of the salt water. All of that. Because when you get on that ship and you're brand new on that ship, you want to think that nobody's been on there before you. You want to have that brand new experience, and it costs a lot of money and a lot of engineering and programmatic planning to make sure that that ship can head back out at the time it needs to. Right? It's everything.
Yeah.
So they move a small city. And my point is, you can do business with them. And that's what the GMCVB and these other folk are all about, is introducing you to all those different opportunities that are there. And so that's a big deal for us to have that event with them.
Man, that's amazing. And I always love having these conversations with you because you kind of pull out the business within the business and opportunities that we may not be thinking about, especially in our community, for things that we could do or pivot to and have more revenue streams. So I'm really glad that you guys have been like super intentional. And that's what I always like about your Black Business Month activities throughout You're really intentional, and it seems like it's something from some for everyone where either you're just getting started and you're thinking about it to like the veteran business owner who is looking for new opportunities. Is that like how do you guys come up with the programming for Black Business Month? Because it feels like very, like I said, intentional.
Well, it is very intentional, but we've got a team, and our team consists of folk out of Commissioner Keone McGee's office, his chief of staff, Claude Thompson, and some of his workers, and also too, like I said before, Aretha Boone at the Black Affairs Advisory Board, and Connie and Petra at the Greater Miami Convention and Business Bureau, and then we work with folk within transportation as well. They joined our team this last year, which they've been really intentional about wrapping the bus with the 305 Black Business Month campaign, right? So Euless Cleckley and his people have been great to work with. And as you know, on the media side, we do a lot of stuff to make sure that we get aroused through Black media, not only with you, but we met with our good friend Papa Keith yesterday. Told me to tell you hello. He loves Janae. And then also too, we do our own publication each and every month when we have Black Business Month. And this is it right here. And it's something that we put together that we do with our good friends at Miami Magazine, Miami Media, and so we're proud to do that. So we kind of advertise and we push. So we get together, months before the meeting, and we begin to curate what events we want to have. And by the time we're done, all these smart people, we settle on the ones we want to do, and then we put them on the map and we execute. Yeah, but my point was we practice months before, Black Business Month comes. So when Black Business Month comes, it's all about just advertising what we want to do because we've done all the work to get our act together.
I love it. And
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of give people even some more context or even information about MD because they may be like, well, why is MD putting on these events? Or so for people who may not be familiar with MD and what you guys represent, can you tell them a little bit about the organization and how this all connects to Black Business Month?
Sure. The Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust was founded about 40 years ago because of the Arthur McDuffie riots. When the riot took place, there was a young man who was an insurance agent. He was murdered right on Miami Avenue at around 39th Street. He was killed, and then the towns got set ablaze because the folk that killed him, they were found innocent, even though all evidence pointed to them, literally murdering him, throwing his keys up on top of the building like he had run off the road by himself in his motorcycle. And so what happened was when that took place, when people came back together, folks started to talk about, well, they don't want us here anyway. They don't care about us. And we begin to realize the biggest issue around this is the fact that Black people are not represented from an economic perspective. And so the community got together with the advent of the folk at the Black Affairs Advisory Board and said, we want to create an organization that as its major focus will be one thing and one thing only, and that is to increase the amount of economic and civic participation of Black folks in Miami-Dade County. And so that's how we were born. And so as an agency, we're funded by Miami-Dade County, and we really operate in three different areas: economic development, housing, as well as youth services. And so, those are the three tenets of our organization, and we sit on a four-legged stool because the other leg of our organization has to do with advocacy and then legislative priorities. And so we do research. We try to determine what ails Black Miami. We try to do disparity studies and thought white papers around the issues that are affecting our community. And then we set our programs based on what we think the community needs once we do those studies. And so that's kind of who we are. So the reason we're tied to Black Business Month is because Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Committee, see, I struggle with it too. We consider ourselves to be the go-to organization for economic development in the Black community, which means that this is ground zero for all things Black.
Come on now, you better come through with the information for the people.
Right, there you go. Yeah, so that's who we are. That's what we do. And I like I said before, I'm really proud of my team. I mean, because listen, our task is not an easy one. we do recognize that we're one of the only agencies of its kind in the country, and we want to make sure that we do honor to the responsibility we've been given to be a voice for the Black community.
And you guys have been doing an amazing job. And like I said, I've seen the transformation just under your leadership. So kudos to you and your team.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, we have some more projects coming up with MD, and we're going to be highlighting some Black-owned businesses in partnership with you guys. So, High Low News family, make sure you guys are on the lookout for that as we dig in deeper into the stories of some of the businesses that have come through some of the MD programming. Mr. Diggs, before I let you go, is there anything else that we need to hit on or let the people know about Black Business Month and your celebration?
No, you've done a great job. We'll be ended up at the end of this month down at Zoo Miami. That's going to be our, if you will, our exit event, and I think that event for us is going to be on the 28th, which is a Wednesday. So it's 2 weeks from today. We'll be down in that area of the country, Zoo Miami. Commissioner Keone McGee will be hosting that for us. That will be our ending reception. We'll have a lot of our vendors that we've done business with that will be a part of that. So it ought to be a really, really good time to celebrate the success of what is now a very long and fruitful month.
Yes, I know you guys are gonna need a little water break, a little Gatorade. I know y'all are going. As you
That's
can
right.
see, I have the calendar of events up. They've been going since August 1st. And so you guys could follow MD info on Instagram or go to their website to get more information about all the activities that they have going on through the month. Any other ways that they could get information or connect with you guys that I didn't touch on?
No, I think that's it. I mean, like I said, before, you can go to Miami-Dade.gov and just, you can click on economic advocacy and it's there. So you can find us. It won't be hard. Just, please come out to our events if you're interested in the growth or learning more about how to create and build a Black business or how to support Black business. We welcome you.
Man, I love it. This has been another amazing episode. I always like hearing, you break stuff down. It just feels so wise and so sage. Like I just feel like I just got a whole bunch of information and learned a lot. But even since you got me thinking, how can we get something on a cruise ship from high low to the
Listen,
to the
let me tell
people?
you something. Look, I mean, I was fortunate enough. I was blessed for a while to live in a condo that was actually at the back of the Miami River and at the base of the Biscayne Bay Inlet. And I would watch in the morning all those cruise ships come in. And I had a pair of binoculars that I would look out, and I would watch these cranes put all this stuff on these doggone boats, and each one of them is $100 million enterprise. Somebody's giving them all that stuff. Someone has that contract. Why not? Why not Janae Tate and Hollow? Why not?
That part.
I
Why
mean,
not?
yeah, because it's not just hard goods. It's the projection of it. It's the thought of it. And by the way, when you take a look at it, most of these cruise ships that you see that are that large, many of these folk are first and second time cruisers from all over the world.
Mm,
And if you go take a look, a large percentage of them are Black. And if
really?
you have to think about the cultural side of making sure that those people want to have an experience that represents their culture, those companies, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and the rest of them, if they're going to be successful, they got to meet these folks somewhere in the middle, and they're trying to get better at it. So why not have a relationship with a high-low who understands the impact of the Black dollar?
From your mouth to God's ears and the people at
Yeah,
the cruise lines.
that's right. That's right. They need sophisticated Black business partners. I can tell you that.
Mm. Man, y'all see these gems Mr. Diggs is dropping. Y'all better I'm taking my notes. Look,
There you
this
go.
has been an amazing episode. Thank you as always for coming and thank you to MD for being an amazing partner with High Low News and just getting people information that is useful to them. Guys, make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, MySpace, Black Planet, all the things.
How
We're
about
on
that?
all the things.
Black Planet.
I know we're not on Black Planet. I'm just playing with y'all. But make sure you also go to hallonewsmiami.com, sign up for our email newsletter. We have exclusive content there for our loyal followers. And as always, this has been an amazing episode, Mr. Diggs. Until next time, when you guys have new information for us, make sure you guys come and drop those details on Hallo News. I've always liked sharing the information, and our audience likes getting that information too.
Absolutely, we will, Jadane. Keep striving, sister. I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
All
Don't
right.
make me cry at the end of the thing.
No, I am. I'm proud of you. And I know that Velveeta is too. So yeah, tell I said hello.
Oh, she gonna go up for that. That's a great way to end, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Diggs.
Right.
I appreciate y'all and celebrate Black Business Month down there with the MDEAT events, guys.
Take care.
Until
See
next
you now.
time. Bye.
Bye bye.